Well guys, Joe Smith here. Welcome back to from Stat the answer video to the question which I posed 3 days ago or so, can't remember now. It's for the free custom fit set of irons from either sub 17 or 11 golf. So we are at hole 14, which means we have 15, 16, 17, 18 to go. So 4 holes to go, depending on if whoever wins, if they are getting too close to the point of where they are so far ahead that no one else can beat them. It might finish early, but we'll have a look at the leaderboard in a sec. So we have the chat, as you can see, by the side. So anyone wants to pop on there and sort of have a little write in. Remember guys, before I go on to the answers to this, remember there is a live stream tomorrow, Monday evening, night, depending on obviously where you are in the world. It could be in the afternoon. Monday, 7 PM UK time, which is sort of midday-ish, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it comes to America, and other times of the world will vary. And it's going to be an open all access, so it's going to be anyone's questions, anyone wants to ask anything, then they can do. And it's free for anyone to drop in and ask a question, so you will all be very, very welcome. Neil's in the house already saying, so who else is online this Sunday? This all depends very much so on, I suppose, what time in the world that it is. Obviously it's nearly 7 o'clock here in the UK in the evening, so yeah, obviously all times vary. But let's go quickly to the question. We'll pop the question up there in full, and then we'll have a look at the answers bit by bit. Again, if you want to pop in the chat there and have anything, you can do, no problem whatsoever. Right, let's go flick over to the question. So it's a two-part question. What is the 20th percentile distance in yards for a 0 handicap golfer? And percentile, very, very quickly, I will give you the exact, if I can find it, here we go. This is how you work out or understand percentile when it comes to all these different things you've got. Averages, mean, median, and all that lot. So percentile is, imagine you're a class 100 students and everyone takes the same test. After that test, all the scores are lined up from lowest to highest. A percentile is a way to show how you scored compared to everybody else. So for example, if you are in the 90th percentile, it means you did better than 90 of the 100 students. Only 10 students scored higher than you. Kind of get the idea. So whatever you are in the percentile, it means where you are reference to the people underneath you or lower than you. And if you're 50th percentile, it means you're right in the middle. There you go. Right, so let's get rid of that one. Let's focus more so on is the question. We have, so what is the 20th percentile distance in yards off the tee, obviously with driver, for a 0 handicap golfer? So very much so down the lines of the shortest, well, very much so one of the shortest group of the scratch handicappers. Then you got part 2, what is the 90th percentile distance in yards for a 20 handicap golfer? So quite a distinct difference in handicap we've got there. Steve's in the house saying hi Jay, and Neil's, and then Neil's saying hi Steve. And then obviously we got 20 handicap difference, which is quite a bit, and a big difference in its percentile difference. So the 90th percentile distance in yards for the 20 handicap golfer, we are talking about the handicap golfer, you are one of the longest out there, the longest out there. So let's quickly go, and we have had a volley of different answers. Actually for this one, I made this one relatively simple to find out. I didn't really want to make this one too difficult to work out. So the information is from Arcos. We've had this one before, right at the very, very start. It was like episode 1 and 2. It could have either been from ShotScope or Arcos, but because there was some confusion sometimes about how the two data sets, or how the two databases more like, are managed and how the information is grabbed from them. Early doors, it was said, we're going to be taking this from Arcos only. And so let's go to our question answer 1. Here we go. So what is the 20th percentile distance in yards for a 0 handicap golfer? The lowest, or one of the lowest among the very good players. 238 yards, so less than 240 yards. We're talking how, like, scratch golfers here, guys, like really very good golfers, and they Distance is key. It really is key for understanding that you can, if you just have your same skill level that you've got now, don't change your skill level whatsoever, but you could just hit that golf ball a little bit further. Yes, you are going to be in a situation sometimes where that further would go OB or in the trees, but generally speaking, if you're going to be hitting them off on that kind of weird and wonderful angles, you're getting very close to being quite dangerous anyway. For all the other ones, you are gaining. And so distance is key. And so if I could just give 20, 30, 40 yards to a really high handicap golfer, the handicap will just come down on the basis of loft wins, because they're going to go into the green, whether it be from the fairway or the rough, it doesn't matter, with more loft. And as soon as you have more loft, you have more control, you have more backspin, you have less tilt axis on the golf ball, less curvature. And so it's much easier for you to maintain your direction of which you intended the golf ball to go. Okay, if you're going to face the golf club face 10 degrees left or 10 degrees right, sorry, that's where it's going to go. But from a normal standpoint, distance is key. So part one is 238 yards. So effectively, we are talking about, you can still retain a zero handicap golfer. You can still retain that handicap as a zero handicap golfer, hitting it 238 yards. You're in the lowest 20% of people in that scratch handicap range. Neil says zero handicap 230 yards person must have very good iron and short game. Yes, we are talking yes. Anyone who is running a 238 yard average drive is a beast at putting, is an absolute wonder around the short game, because when you're talking about, okay, different golf courses are different. Of course, this is from Arcos and we're talking about 1 billion shots now. And so there is a myriad of different courses, just a plethora of different yardage courses. So this is for everything. Of course, you're going to get your weird and wonderfuls, your super long courses, which will kind of skew if the numbers a little bit. But then you get your super short courses, again, which will skew if the numbers a little bit. But we have now 1 billion shots on the averages, so we've had enough now that those outliers don't really muddy the waters too much. Carl J26 says 238, that's my forward TSI one. Added lead tape to the bottom front with an DI6. You can do. I know a lot of people that do tinker with the old lead tape, just make sure it doesn't come off during the round. In practice round you're fine, but if it does come off, it's a little bit of an interesting one because you can't use it technically. But yeah, right. So 238 yards is the 20% or the 20 percentile, which is the very, very low amongst. Yeah, there is a lot of people in the zero handicap range that hit it a lot further, and so Niels is quite right when it comes to the chat, which is behind this question or answer to the question. You really, really have to have a dialed in rest of your game to be a scratch handicapper, only hitting it 238 yards on average. Right, let's go to the answer, the full answer for question 2 as well. Part 2 is also 238 yards. There's a reason which I use the 90th and 20th percentile for the two different handicaps. Why? Because they were exactly the same number. For a bit of fun. 238, my performance average, I hope for me, yeah, says Perry. Yes, you could potentially, if you hit it 238 yards as your average, yes, you could be scratch. Although, as Neil said before, as in behind this on the chat, you really have to have a just dialed in everything. Putting, short game, chipping approach, because you're leaving yourself a lot of work to do. Right, so 238 yards, this is for the 90th percentile for the 20 handicap. So if you're a 20 handicap and you hit at 238 yards, you're long, you are long. If you look at your peer group, there's not many golfers at your handicap level that average more than you. If you can hit your average at 200, less than 240 total yards, this is not carry, this is total yards. And so obviously that will move a little bit with someone's winter, with the amount of carry, bounce, and roll that you do or do not get. But it goes to show the big difference of what happens when you add speed. Speed is absolutely key, like properly key to you getting your handicap down. if, again, if I could just give everybody 10-mile-an-hour clubhead speed more, it's a win-win, because it's not just a win with the driver. Yes, you are going to hit your driver 25, 30 yards longer with an extra 10 miles an hour or so, but let's say 25 yards or so. But what you're going to gain is not just from driver. You're going to be 25 yards further down the fairway, but when it comes to your next shot, or rough, doesn't matter if it's rough or fairway, there's very little difference when it comes to amateur golfers in the shots gained difference between them being in the rough and also fairway. But if you give the amateur 25 yards of extra distance from pumping up their clubhead speed by 10 miles an hour, give or take, then not only do they win from that 25 yards off the tee, they win on the iron as well, because their iron swing is faster as well, is 10 mile an hour faster, or a little bit faster from a percentage of, let's say, 100 miles an hour to 110 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour kind of idea. If you're going to be upping the iron by a certain percentage as well, we are now not only at least 2 clubs closer to the green with the drive, we are now, well, let's just say we got 150 yards to go, where we would have 175 yards to go. Well, just for me, 175 yards is 3 yards short of my carry for my 6-iron. And then when it comes to 150 yards, that's basically my 8-iron. And if you then move that into the slower swing speed golfers as well, you're going to be their loft gaps, generally speaking, their distance gap between their irons are slightly smaller than mine because they swing slower. That could quite easily be getting close to 3 golf clubs difference in that speed, if not then 4. Because then you have to think about the added speed that they have for their iron swing, and it is mental. So going in at a green at 175, now 150, but it's not their 150 club anymore because they now swing faster. So it actually could quite easily be 1 or 2 clubs even less. It is so important that we have speed. Now there are ways you can obviously work on your speed. There's many different pieces of equipment online. I'm not going to specify which one because again, all of them have their merits and their weaknesses, but effectively there are ways that you can get your speed up. And so I would try, if you can do best, to try and gain some extra speed where possible. Now, yes, you are going to, if you go for a speed trainer, my suggestion would always be do it in the winter break. If you're going to go through that passage of changing your, not say your body, but there is a certain synchronization issue when you start adding speed. Body parts move at different speeds and at different rates. So there's always a, you start moving your body fast, your hands get left behind, you start moving your hands first, your body gets left behind. Golf clubs will rotate at different points, and then you could lose complete face control, if not strike, obviously when you're trying to gain speed. That's natural, that's normal, and I wouldn't worry about it. However, if you're doing that in medal season and competition season, I wouldn't necessarily be saying that's a good idea. So I've always suggested doing this, if you can, on the off season, because it gives you the opportunity to try and gain some extra valuable yards, which is going to make a massive difference to your game coming the next following year. Huge gains, and your handicap will naturally just come down. This is the thing. You can already see at 238 yards for a there we go, I'll get the 4 questions up on there if I can click the right button properly. There we go. You can already see that 238 yards answer for both. If your 238 yards is your 20 handicapper, there's not much more you can do. You need to be working really hard on other parts of your game because driving is not the issue. But again, if you want to get better and you're that 20 handicap golfer that hits it further than 90% of your peers, also means that certain other parts of your game aren't brilliant compared to your peers. Yet if you look at a scratch handicap, 238 yards, generally speaking, guys, is not going to cut the mustard, and you are going to have to be an absolute bandit, like a proper genius, from approach play, chipping, your short game, your putting, all that kind of idea to keep your 0 handicap golfer. So it goes from the 20 to the scratch, 2 completely different ideas of speed and distance. So guys, if you can get your speed up, please do. I'd say again, do it in the winter time. So enjoy this summer, however long the summer's going to last, Enjoy the summer, enjoy your scoring, your competition, your medal play, all that kind of idea for a bit of fun this year. And then possibly when it comes to the nights getting a little bit longer and it getting a bit darker and you can't play after work and stuff like that, then it might be time for you to think about going into 2024 to 2025 season, working on the latter half of 2024 on getting your speed up to see if we can start chasing that handicap lower and lower. Right, let's go see what the leaderboard is, because we have only 4 more to go now. We are getting very, very close to the end of the From Stats to Stroke series. I'm just going to let this scroll through a fraction longer. As you can see, just a little segue up the top there, I've got my little bits and piece up there for tomorrow's live stream. 7 p.m. UK time, guys. It'd be great if you could join in. It's an open all access, so every single person is allowed to pop on. Normally the Monday night live streams are for members only. Again, if you want to be a member, pop on my YouTube homepage. There's a little join button on there. If you click on that one, that'll give you some options to see if you want to join or not. Let's go flick over to the leaderboard. Here we go. As we can see here, these are the people that have possibly only just well, joined in for 1 episode, and that was it. 5 points all the way down to 1 point. Here we go. Niels is still in the lead by 5 points. We've got William, Aaron, Francisco, Mr. Tufa, Wasteland, Ian Plummer, Peter Mayor, A Special K, Harry's there at 46, tied 9th. Steve Butcher's also, here we go, we lost it at tied 9th. There's a few people tied 9th. So there's been in the top 3 or so, but I think if I remember, I want to say Francisco did not answer this this time, and so has dropped down the leaderboard. So it is imperative that you make sure you keep on answering the questions and getting your answers in there, because sometimes people at the top end of the leaderboard do forget, or they don't keep an eye on the channel, they don't look at their notifications, or they forget about it, or life gets in the way. I understand that, and it means sometimes that they don't answer the questions, which mean they do fall down the leaderboard. There you go. So yeah, right, there we go. Well, I'll pop this off now. We've seen the leaderboard enough. We've got a few different bits and pieces in there. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just make that a little bit bigger for everyone to see. There we go. So Neil saying, so Perry, you can be a scratch handicap, just depends on the rest. Yeah, 3 net under in waterlogged conditions last week. That's good. That's good. We have had a lot of water in the UK. It has been one of the wettest starts of the year for quite some time. And yeah, we did have a little bit of sun at the early part of May, 2 days or so. Lulled us in a false sense of security before all the rain and that. Like, I mean, it's been weird, like properly weird over the last 3 weeks or so. It's just been rain, then sun, then rain, more sun and more rain. Torrential more rain, continues to rain, bit more sun, and then it rained again. This is all on the same day. And it happened exactly the same for the next 21 days afterwards. It's just been, we can't do anything outside because you're just gonna get soaked. You never know what clothes you're gonna wear, because then it comes out nice and warm, and it's, yeah. There you go, welcome to the UK. Right guys, so unless you have anything else you would like to add in there, I will let you all go. So well done to every single person that joined in, as always. Well done for everyone who scored well. It was a high scoring round, I will say, because everyone got very, very close. There weren't some weird and wonderful results that I normally get, which again, I suppose I made the question a little bit easier this time, so it's not so difficult. Sometimes people, again, it's difficult. Some people can spend quite some time researching to find the answers from the ARCOS database, and some can't. And so this one was designed to be a little bit easier for everybody to find. Carl J, 26, so I have been averaging 85 for 18, 42 for 9. Oh, 85 for 18 holes, 42 for 9, yeah. Why does my ARCOS say I'm an 8? That seems... Welcome, TK Keen. There you go. Why does my ARCOS say I'm an 8? That seems low. Okay, so if you're in averaging 85, let's just imagine. So this is sort of going. Okay, I don't know the course you're playing on, don't know the slope rating or anything else like that, but this is a really kind of blanket statement. Let's just imagine you're on a par 72. You could be par 73, could par 71. Let's just say 72. 85. So effectively that's your average 85. So that's 13 over. Now, because of the way how handicap systems work and stuff like that, generally speaking, you are, of your handicap, your average score for your handicap is normally around 3 shots worse than your actual handicap. Yep, so if you're a 10, you average 13. And of course, you will go under your handicap for like 15 to 20% of the rounds or something like that. And that fluctuates obviously depending on what type of golfer you are, what handicap you are, how flaky you are at kind of doing, how consistent you are. But effectively it always runs fairly linearly all the way from scratch handicap all the way up to the higher handicaps that you average, give or take 3 shots higher than your actual handicap. So if you imagine we're talking about 13, that's now down to 10, and depending on the slope rating, competition scratch score as such on the day, blah, 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 that could quite easily move 1 or 2 shots different. So again, ARCOS works on a slightly different idea. I mean, it's a decent gauge of where you could be. With a pinch of salt, I use ARCOS with a pinch of salt. ARCOS, generally speaking, is always slightly lower than what your actuals are anyway, but within reason. That's so Extreme Elements, my little bot. Say hello to bot. There we go. Says thanks for subscribing, TK Keen. Thanks very much. Excuse me. It seems to me the ranking is the same as before. Not quite. We have had someone moved down. I'll see if I can. Oh, my phone's going. Oh, there we go. An answer to the crossword question the wife was asking. What was it? A angler's basket. 5 letters. So I asked a friend who's a fisherman, and he's given me the answer. So if you know, pop in the chat for a bit of fun. Right, what was the? Let's have a little quick look. It was it was a couple of different people. As open up that one, I'll zoom in on that. I'm looking at the top of the leaderboard, and then let's also let's see if we can do that one as well. Right, so we had, where's my little? So obviously this is enthralling live. You can see by the background I'm doing stuff in the background. There we go. So let's have a little look. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh no, Min is actually quite right. Because I've linked it to the wrong one. There we go. See, this is the good thing about having live chat going, because you can see when there's a little boo-boo when it comes to the file that's linked to the wrong folder. You can tell straight away. Are you ready? Here it comes. So this is the correct leaderboard. This is one from the folder beforehand, from episode 13. Right, here we go. Neil's, again, we've still got that point lead, but obviously we can see here that Francisco hasn't said anything, so he's back down the leaderboard a little bit now, but there we go. All is well, all is happy. Yep, Steve has just basically sort of said exactly the same thing. Yep. The file linked to the wrong folder. Everything is up to date, everything's normal. It's just that Numpty over here decided that he wanted to link it to the one episode 13, not episode 14. But there you go, that's all done. So I'll leave that going on in the background. Right, so we have so I play, Carl J26, I play a Tough Mountain Arnold Palmer design, keep it in fairway type course. yeah, I mean, so I suppose the competition scratch could be higher, but again. Neil says, sounds about right. I'm an 11 and average a bit higher than you. Remember the 8 best rounds of the past 20 count in the World Handicap system. Yeah, we could do a live stream. Absolutely, we could do a live stream on the basis of the difference between the World Handicap and the old handicap system. I'm a fan of the old handicap system. I didn't think Congo was really that bad. Everybody's different. I don't like the fact that we've got, I like it for inclusivity, the fact that we can have so many people now, but I don't really see having 50 odd handicap. Yeah, but there you go. Right, so that is the up-to-date leaderboard. Thank you, Min, for that. Showing me the right one. And then, yeah, I'll just let it go now. Bit on here so we can actually see. And then obviously when you're talking about, we are getting very, very close to the end now, guys. So the people, we're not going to get as many people joining in as we did at the very, very start, but there you go. It's one of those things, obviously, because people down here are not really going to be able, they're not going to win now. Not even a month of Sundays. So obviously we've only got 20 points available, and so anyone who's more than 20 points back, even if Niels and everyone else in the top 10 were wiped off the face of a planet by a rogue asteroid, well, it's going to be very difficult, obviously, because they're different points of the road. So it'd have to separate in entry, and I mean, 1 in infinity chance of that happening. So anyone within reason who's 20 points or more away from the top group, of course, they're not going to get involved. But it's a bit of fun still anyway. So well done, Niels and William and Aaron and Peter, Mr. Too Fair, Wasteland, Harry, Ian, Steve. A Special K, Francisco didn't answer anything. Ice Tray did actually answer anything. He's got a bit of room for a bit of fun. Paul, Fractal Geek, there we go. Right, well done to everybody, and we will see everybody next time of the Stats and Strokes question for hole 15. And also, guys, if you don't mind at all, you can jump in tomorrow's live stream. It's all good. I'll get this off now so we can see. Neil says, see you tomorrow in the All Access Clubhouse. Like that, he says, and that's true. So everyone can pop in for the open All Access live stream tomorrow at 7 PM UK time, so whether that is in the different parts of the world. And that is your opportunity to ask a question, whatever question, query, swing related, equipment related, doesn't matter what it is, and I will do my best to answer. The more technical the better. I love a really difficult technical question, and so if you've always wanted to ask something but never really got the answer, ask it away and see if I can break that chain of not being able to answer the question. So right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it as always, and we will see everybody in the next episode of From Stats to Strokes, and also for the guys that pop onto the live stream tomorrow evening at 7 PM UK time. Take care, guys. See you again soon.